Yes, sir, greetings. Welcome to your Wednesday task. You will be writing a dialogue turning Shakespearean language into a modern version. It's a very fun thing to do, really. And there's so many talented writers in this year. We look forward to hearing from you. A brief touch of revision. Do you remember what a prophecy is from last lesson? Yes, you'll remember that it's a way of looking into the future. And what three prophecies did the witches reveal to Macbeth and Banquo? Do you remember? Pause the video if you need more time. But the first thing the witches said on the battlefield was, or on the heath, was that Macbeth would become Thane of Cawdor. They then told him that he would become king, but they said that Banquo, his friend's children, would become king after Macbeth is king, which no doubt leads to a bit of jealousy and rivalry. As I mentioned, today you'll be writing a dialogue. I need to explain to you what a dialogue is. It is speech and drama that takes place between two or more people. So Macbeth, Banquo, the witches, they could all be talking to each other today. The etymology is dia plus legene, or the derivative log, speech across. Let's leap back to the question, what warm words did King Duncan have for Macbeth in their dialogue? Remember Macbeth that, you will remember that Macbeth had dealt with two aggressors or two different attacks, fought bravely. King Duncan was very flattering. He called him worthy cousin. And let's aim higher. What are the rules of structuring a dialogue? It'd be a good idea if you know these because you're structuring a dialogue. Well, one of the rules is that you must use speech marks. Another rule is that you should start a new line whenever a new character is talking. You should also use some sort of punctuation at the end of the speech, for example, if not a full stop, question mark, or exclamation mark, then a comma even, if the sentence is continuing. And a couple of points of style. It's a good idea to explain what the character's doing while they're talking. For instance, don't just say he said. You could say he said while scratching his head, thinking of the rules for dialogue. Another point of style is that you should show what a character's feeling rather than telling your reader that the character's happy or sad or disgusted. You could say smiling or with a tear rolling down his eye or something, or his lip curling, which is what I've done later. You're going to be using language. You're going to write a dialogue between witches and Macbeth. In more detail, create a modern-day interpretation of the witches' meeting with Macbeth. Remember, they met on Heath. They delivered the prophecies. You have the script already, which is sent to you already. Write a short scene in which Macbeth and Banquo hear the witches' prophecies. Think about how the witches could be portrayed in a modern-day production. Are they using mobile phones? Are they on a battlefield? Are they journalists, perhaps? Think where the scene will take place, how they'll deliver the prophecies, and how the two warriors will react. I worked with this part of the scene. Macbeth says, in those iconic words, "So found fair day I've not seen." Found fair day I've not seen. And Banquo says, "How far is it called to forest?" So, how long is it before we reach our destination? And then he sees the witches and says, "What are these? So withered and so wild in their attire and clothes, that look not like the inhabitants of the earth, and yet are on it." Then he addresses the witches, "Live you, or are you aught? Are you anything that man may question? You seem to understand me." So let's see how I've updated this for a modern audience. I've certainly dropped the Shakespearean. I've only used the Shakespearean language as a pun, or as a play on words. So Macbeth waved at the mist. It was so thick it clung damply to his hand. He frowned. as the cocktail of dried blood turned slimy in his palm. So he frowned. I haven't said he's sad, I'm just saying he's frowning. Then, new speaker, new line. You know Banquo, he said, gathering his cloak round his shoulders. I can honestly say I've never seen such a lucky and unlucky day as this. You might say fair is foul and foul is fair. We forced a chuckle. Now look at how I started Macbeth's speech on a new line. Look at how I've used punctuation after Banquo because the sentence is continuing. I don't need a capital letter for he said because the sentence is continuing. I've also explained that he's gathering his cloak around his shoulders because he's doing something as he's talking. The sentence continues. I can honestly say I've never seen such lucky and unlucky days. This, I've used a capital letter for he forced a chuckle because Macbeth's own sentence had finished after foul is fair. And then this is where Banquo comes in. New speaker, new line, new paragraph. You're right, replied Banquo. His breath was heavy as the warrior duo had been walking for hours. I didn't want to say Banquo's tired, I just wanted to show you that his breath was heavy, so you can judge for yourself that he's tired. This weather is awful. It's much further to forest, though. His voice halted as three human forms emerged from the mist. Who, or I should say, what are these? He said, his lips curling. The sentence begins with who, or I should say what. The sentence ends with lips curling, so therefore I don't start, he said with a capital H, even though there's a question mark. It's simply because the sentence, my sentence, hasn't ended until the very end. Well, I hope that's clear. Please contact us if you're unsure of any of these rules, but we look forward to hearing from you at the end of the day.